need to, do we go with you?
Go up there with George. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. You must be from Mississippi too. Again, welcome to the Lucas Oil Stadium, the home of the Indianapolis Colts. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to go down on the elevator, and we're going to go down to the see the meeting rooms. Then we'll see and then we're going to the field. Then from the field, we're going to the visitors' locker room. From the visitors' locker room, we're going up to the press box, which is the highest point. And then from the press box, we'll come back down the elevator, and we'll be here at the Lucas Stadium Plaza. Okay, so it's a like I said, it's a real good tour. The only you won't be able to see is you'll never see the Colts locker room. Okay, you go by it, and the other thing is the quarterback suite, and they got an activity going on there, and that's the reason you can't see that. But other than that, but anyway, then the cost of the stadium cost $720 million. It was completed in 2008. The naming rights is Forrest Lucas in 2006 paid $122 million for a 20-year lease, okay, for his naming rights. So with this is about the basic. We're sitting on 1.9 million square feet of space here. The RCA Dome, for some of you people out of town, the RCA Dome, which is the old stadium, was across the street here, and we expanded here the convention center. So with that, we'll go down the elevator, and we'll talk more to you when I get down here on the field, okay? In other words, I got more information. Down over here is the what they call the East Club, okay? And the East Club, what it is a certain area where they have tables and chairs. They got a big television set. They got their own concession stands. In that particular area, when you go in there, the seats cost from $230 to $270 a game. You have to buy all 10 games. There was 8 regular season games and 2 preseason games. But when you're in that specific area, so you have your own table. When I say your table and chairs, and you have 5 concession stands right there inside, so you don't have to come out. And also you have your own restrooms there, men's and the ladies' restroom. For example, this particular room here, at one time we had the Colts blood drive, okay? And what they had is hospital beds here, and they had nurses and doctors, and honest to God, it looked like a hospital, as you can imagine. And what they did there's 1,100 people that gave blood that particular day, and they gave the people, the recipients who gave the blood, they gave them a football, a white football, and a pennant. And they had 2 Colts football players here, and they assigned those autographs for them. Now, the reason that there are only 2, that you can't, as most autograph sessions is, they go and let you out 2 things, because as you can imagine, if you tell somebody you're going to meet, a Colts player, they give you a hat, or they give you a napkin, or they give you something, and they can't do it. So they only sign usually 2 items. But as I said again, you'd be surprised. Then the other thing is, has anybody here been or any place a monster truck race? Where they have to pile the dirt and they climb over, you see it on television? Okay, we've had that here. We've had 50,000 people. Now, when I first saw a monster race truck like that, I couldn't believe that they would attract 50,000 people for that kind of event. Of course, needless to say, one of the #1 selling items when they have it here for the concession is what? Earplugs. And it costs $1.50 for the earplugs. The other thing is, if you can visualize when you come in here, 150 truckloads of dirt is stored in this area.
Oh, wow.
Here and back over there also. And you notice that these here seats here are portable, where they roll them out so they can convert to any particular event that we may have here. You were 25 feet below street level. Remember, I told you that. Okay. The other thing is that we have 67,203 seats in here. In other words, and the seat in here is all stadium seats. There's no bleachers in this particular area. Okay, the whole stadium. Now, when we have the Super Bowl here, we're going to have 71,000 people. Where are we going to put the 70,000 people? Well, if you look over here to my right, you see Sprint, Bud Light range. They're going to expand that, put extra seating up there. Then to my left, also the same thing applies here. The other interesting point is, for example, the seats here. The seats are 21 inches wide, whereas in the RCA Dome, they was 19 inches wide. Of course, as you know, people are a lot bigger than they used to be, so they had to expand the seats. I'm serious when I tell you that when we was at the RCA Dome, and this is a true story, that you'd be surprised as so many people were so big that they had to request in seats, and so help me God, they sat on the rail because they couldn't sit in the seats. And it's a true story. So that's why they had to expand the seat 21 inches right here. The other interesting point is you'll notice the turf over here is made of rubber tires, from rubber tires. And underneath there is 6 inches of sand. Okay, cushion. Now if you feel in there, when you get the grass over here, the turf over here is a lot stronger than it is on a regular field. And I think when you walk on it, you'll know. When I let you get on the field, I would appreciate it if you have to stay behind the goalpost, behind the yellow line there and the goal line there, okay? On the end zone here, you have to stay behind there. You're welcome to take pictures, but let me talk to you a little bit more. For example, you get in the middle all the way up to the top. It's equivalent to a 35, you could put a 35-foot story building all the way up here. Remember I told you you're 25 feet below street level? If you go up there where you just came from, the Lucas Plaza, that's street level. So you can see how that you're really, 25 below street. The other interesting point is we're the only NFL stadium here that has field suites, and they got 8 field suites right here. The suites here cost from $40,000 to $140,000 for the year for the Colts game. Now on the lower suites you see over there where it says 240, 243, 245, that's the lower suites. The upper suites are up higher. On the left over here side, the cost of the seats here, and you see the cuff color seats there where it says 142, 141, 140. Remember I showed you the club side, I told you about the club seats there. When you come on the East Club, that's what's on this side. Those seats there cost from $230 to $270 a game. You have to buy all 10 games. There again, remember I told you they have a club area that you can sit down and eat and they have the food. The same thing applies on this side. The West Club, the same thing applies. Now, during the Super Bowl, when you have the Super Bowl, you see all these seats around that you see here in 2012, all the lower seats over here is going to sell for $1,000. The upper side would be $800. There will be 2 prices, $1,000 and $800. That's the only 2 prices of seats that we know of. Right now, this cost of the cheapest seats in here is the end zone is $48 for the end zone seats. You see where it says 240? That's where they actually call the games from. Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, when he calls the games, national broadcast, that's where they actually call the game. You see right now there's some TV people here now from one of the channels 13 that's doing something because I guess of the Super Bowl. The other thing is the roof. The roof, we're on the only stadium in the country, in the NFL stadiums, that has the roof opens up east and west. It opens up to 176,000 square feet. And each one of those panels weighs 2.5 million pounds for a total of 5 million pounds. The roof costs, the opening roof costs $50 million itself. And during the game, it takes 90 minutes before the game, the head coach has to make a decision when he wants to open up the roof. And it takes between 9 to 11 minutes to open the roof. How many people do you think it takes to open up the roof? One. That's right. One person. Pushes the button, it opens up. Right. One person, one thing, opens up. Okay. The other thing is, for example, on the tunnel on there, on the south side, the tunnel, that's where the Colts come out. Players. On this side over here, which we're going to the visiting locker room, that's where the visitors come out, on that end. Now, when the Colts come out, they come out there, that's their side, is on the west side. The visiting team is on this side. So, if you will, we've had conventions here. We've had the Kenny Chesney show here. We had 70,000 people here. We had a stage here, and the platform runs out there. and they had, chairs out there in the middle. The other thing is when they had the NCAA basketball game here, we had 70,000 people. What we put is the basketball floor in the middle, comes out this way here, okay? And we had bleachers sit around, and we had 70,000 people here for the NCAA basketball game. Now, if you will, let me see it. I tell you there. Okay, if you will, you're welcome to go out, and if you want to take pictures in front of the Colts goalpost, you're welcome to do that, and also have a feel of the turf.
Gary Roberts, Arm TV. I am now on the Indianapolis Colts field. Check it out. Feel it. You don't believe me? Look up right there, Holmes. That's it. And here, kicking a field goal right there.
Remember when they have 4 and 1 from here to there? Think about that. That they can't make it from here to there. When you look at it down here, it looks, why can't they make 4 and 1? There it is, because they got 330-pound guys in the middle of blocking it.
4th and 1 right
Yeah,
here.
when the ball's here, they can't make it.
Got him.
Do you, working here, do you get perks and watching games?
Oh yeah, but when you say watching games, we don't have a seat to watch a game. We're working in an area like we're up here somewhere, and we have a glimpse or watch it on TV. No, we don't have a seat because we've got to work.
Yeah.
But we're going to work the Super Bowl, so we're excited about that.
Oh, that's a big deal.
That is.
Is there any bonus for working a Super Bowl from any other game?
I doubt it very seriously. They're going to take it as like,
just a regular game.
You got to be privileged that you're working it.
Yeah.
Right?
Cool.
It's like I used to be a boxing referee, and whenever a TV shot come up, they say like, how much you going to give to me? Well, there's people they would pay for them to be on national TV.
Yeah.
So you.
I wasn't closed it while we were here.
This is where the visiting team comes out?
I'm sorry?
The visiting team comes right through?
Right. This is where they run out into the field. Right.
So on a normal tour, you get to see the quarterback's suite, but
yes.
Because today there's
they got an activity going on.
Will you tell us what it's like?
It's very nice. It's really having that.
And only Peyton Manning has access to it?
No. That's what's in it. There's no more.
Oh.
In other words, he has nothing to do with it. That's just the name they gave it.
Oh, but you got to be special to get that room, like.
No, you have to pay.
Yeah, big people.
$300, and they give you the food and your drinks.
$300? That's not bad.
That's reasonable.
It's not bad, and it's you sitting in actual suite. The seats and everything just like a suite. The only difference is it seats 200, where the other one sits 16.
Ah.
But it's okay. If anybody wants to come in here, this is the training room. You're welcome to come in here. This is where they tape them up, bandage them.
The
got an ice
visitors.
machine for the ice. I'm sorry.
Visitors only taping?
Visitors only, right.
Okay.
This is only the visitors. You can go on the field. And of course, then we'll go out and now, if you look around, at least we didn't paint the walls pink. Right? We didn't paint them. The other questions asked quite obviously all the time is the Colts locker room nicer than this? Well, of course it is. It should be, right? Now, you got to remember that when we go out of town, this is the kind of treatment we probably get, right? Is here. The other thing is, another interesting point is then when the Colts, when the Hoosier Dome or the RCA Dome, they blew it up. They sold as much merchandise as they could possibly sell. They sold the chairs and they sold the locker rooms. Well, one of the lockers that Peyton Manning had at an auction, a lady paid $10,000 for his locker. The concern is the fact that when he retires from playing here in Indianapolis Colts, which we all think he will retire from here, and what will it sell for here? Okay, my grandson bought 2 of our seats when we had at the RC Dome that he put in his den and he paid $350 for those 2 seats. Okay? Again, this is where you see the guys there. Now, when they come here and they bring their valuables and everything, they got to bring their own padlock, and this is where they put their 5-carat diamond earrings, right in here. They lock them up there. Okay? If you will, you want to walk in there and you see the shower room. Right in there. Walk in there. They only got 16 shower heads here. Another story is we have some young kids like this. It wasn't on my tour, it was another person's tour. And one of the young men got loose, walked in there, and turned the shower on. It got all wet. And we're assuming that he went home and told his friends that he took a shower in the Colts locker room. I'm sure he didn't tell them it was the visiting locker room. I'm sure of that. But the Colts locker shower is 20. They got 20 heads. But look how tall, as you can see, how tall they are. And the other thing is, a lot of people, a lot of times I use this and they say I'm a pervert. And I'm sincere though. I would like to see how 80 players can come in here and take use 16 shower heads. I really would. I'd like to see that. I don't think they can do it. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What would be an example of something the Colts locker room has that this one doesn't?
Okay, first of all, they got a horseshoe, the wooden lockers. Okay, the other thing is they got a hot tub. It's nicer and it's bigger.
How many shower heads in there?
20. This is 16.
And they got a horseshoe in the carpet.
They got a horseshoe, right in the center there, real colorful, and the wooden lockers. Oh, and the other thing is now, a lot of the football fans probably already know this, but when they come in here, the game, and the same with the Colts, they always put the offensive players on one side and the defensive players on the opposite side, so that they mingle together. Okay? Here's another, if you want to go through this, it's interesting, I think, and that's for the coaches. They have their own restroom, toilet, shower.
You saw that right away.
Head Coach Roberts.
This is the head coach's place in here. Well, you need that.
Yeah, we have to get here 3 hours before game time.
That's a lot.
Over here is this is where they issue the equipment for the players. Here, for the players.
So now, do you get paid at arrival time or game time?
And they get $100 a game. That's yeah. They said when they make their money, they have personal appearances.
Oh, yeah.
Come down. On the right-hand side here is the commissary, where they prepare the food, the popcorn, and center plate concession stands right here.
Is there a place for players to eat, like before games, or do they eat? Or no?
They sell the seats, or when somebody gets, like, for example, guys will ask, where does Archie Manning? When Archie Manning comes there and sees his son play, where does he sit? Very, very, very the most play. Where do you think he would sit? Jeremy's box, his suite. In other words, the owner's suite. And the same thing will apply when he goes out of town.
Yeah.
And over here, you see, this is another room with the coaches and staff. And over here is where they got a podium, chairs, and a backdrop. And this is actually where they would do the interview. Not upstairs. This is where they would actually do the interview. When I'm going to show you the press box is just something where the press is working to see the game. When they want to do any interviews, this is where they would do it. And the Colts locker room is down this way. Visitors locker room here, and so you're right in the middle.
It was a tough loss. I don't know what to say. My arm just wasn't working. We'll bounce back next week. I promise we'll bounce back next week.
Now we're going to go by the Colts locker room. So if anybody wants to take any pictures there in front of the Colts locker room, we'll stop and do that. Again, we're not able to go into the locker room, but we'll be able to see it on the outside.
Who's going to tackle me when I do?
Don't even get in. There you are. I'll tell you, this is really interesting. For a lot of people here, I've been to a lot of games, a lot of stadiums, but I have never been at any of those stadiums where I had a tour like this. Okay, here's another. The men like this room here. This is the beer room. This is where we store beer. It holds 50 cases of beer.
Smells like beer. I don't like it.
And there's 7 of these in the building. This is the largest one. And there'll be a Budweiser guy that's actually stationed here to allocate the beer, you know, when they go out. And the kegs, there's 50 kegs. That holds 50 kegs of beer. You feel the aroma? I mean, smell the aroma?
Yeah.
You get a little aroma in there?
Smell it, big time.
Don't you think so?
Beer will Lucas go through in a game, a whole game? I mean,
I would like to know. I don't know.
if there's 7 rooms to hold 50,
No, this is the largest one.
oh,
This is large.
it'd be interesting to know how many throughout a game.
I would
will you
love
do?
to know that.
Yeah, find out
And
for
they
me.
sell beer $7.50. You know, for a keg. So I would. I don't know if they would even let publicize that. There's 4,400 toilets in this building.
4,400?
4,400 toilets. You know, toilet. Okay, we'll take the first group. You want to go up? Oh, that's for the Colts locker. Yeah, really? See, that's good. Yeah, I told you it was. Yeah, sure. We'll show you the Colts locker room. Yeah. Okay, on the other side over here, you see the Diamond Chain Company there. It's over 50 years old, and the first product they made there was bicycle chains. Now they make all kinds of chains. Everybody is welcome to go down to the steps and sit in the press box. This is the highest point in the stadium. You're at the 7th level. It's the only, and the thing is, when you come up here, you have to have the proper credentials, which is the press, which is radio, television, newspaper, or any other medium. And when you have, I think the vision up here is surprisingly. Went to the left, went up here, then they also can look above you, and they'll have to see the television set. Again, 14 television sets. And during the Super Bowl, I understand they're going to put extra tables in here in the middle to accommodate people, because they're going to be all kinds of requests from people all over the country that will be coming up here that wants to see the Super Bowl. The other interesting point, again, if I told you this, please bear with me. Sometimes I repeat myself. All those seats on the lower level will be $1,000 during the Super Bowl. The ones above there will be $800. There's only 2 prices here, $1,000 and $800. I don't think there's very many of us has ever had the opportunity or ever seen a ticket that's actually face value that says $1,000. There may be some that paid extra for it there, but I don't think anybody ever seen it. Very few of us has ever seen a ticket that's actually priced at $1,000. My grandson last year got a ticket for $800. In the seats they said he did get 2 tickets. There's $800 a piece for the Super Bowl. Now, let me tell you another story about him, and this, again, when they played the Super Bowl in 2006 when he went to Florida, just to illustrate the point that the fact that it does happen, he wanted to go see, he says, Grandpa, do you want to go see the Super Bowl? And I said, yeah, I think I'm excited about it. I said, see if you can get some tickets. So he went on the internet, and I know for a fact, he went on the internet, and he paid. He says, well, Grandpa, I got 2 seats. I get 2 of them. They're $3,500 a piece. They're $800 tickets. And I says, well, I can't afford to go. I can't afford to go there. So the bottom line is I did not go. But the bottom line, him and his best friend paid $3,500, went to the Super Bowl. And my point I'm trying to make, he's just an average guy. When I say an average guy, you know, he makes a good living, but you know, he's not a millionaire or anything like that, but he was willing to pay $3,500. Again, that's a person I know for a fact that paid $3,500 for an $800 ticket. Okay? If you will, just... Yes. Well, now he's a Cowboy fan and a Colts fan. Well, but now I'm just a Colts fan. I don't follow the Bengals. But I had season tickets. My wife and I had season tickets. We went, not every Sunday, but every game. We had a tailgate party in Cincinnati, which, you know, an hour and 15-minute drive. Right. Good drive and good party. We had tailgate. So, if you will, just walk to my left, go up the steps, and we'll continue to pray.
And Manning drops back 50-yard pass in.
Now, when we go through here again, so you just have to look on the wall, and it will tell you what the game operation is. None of the doors are open. Okay, the clock operator. Now, this room here, you see how wide it is and big. This is the largest room up here in the press box. It's got the scoreboard, the video, and the PA control. This is the biggest room in here. In this room alone, it's got over $500,000, $500,000 worth of equipment in this room alone. Again, I haven't seen it. Game operations. This is where the home coach is at. This is where the home radio is at. They have their own restrooms up here, the men and the ladies. Here's another interesting point, which is another fact. This is an NFL rule. This line has to be made up in front of the instant replay. Also, there will be, during the game, there will be a uniformed security guy that actually is stationed there to be sure that nobody pushes their way in to see the instant replay. Because as you can imagine, when all these home coaches are here and the visiting coaches here, they want to come back here and see the rest of the replay other than the ones they have. They want to come in here and see with the official. Now, there, again, I haven't seen it, but they understand there's 9 television sets in that one room alone. You see all the wiring? You see all the wiring in this building?
Well, that's good they have the wire like that. It's right there, easy to fix.
Here's the visiting coach,
Nice to have the houses in
the game operation. Now, I don't know if there's anybody here from Indianapolis or around. This is where our guy from WIBC, Bob Lamy, this is where he actually calls the game from, this cubicle right here. Right in this side here. And it's on the 50-yard line. All the food and the drinks here are complimentary. Of course, needless to say, the drinks are all soft drinks and bottled water. There's no beer, no hard liquor ever served up here. Now, you know, many times, you know, the riders are known for being drinkers, okay? Do they bring their own? I don't know. Do they check them out? I don't know anything about that. But they up here, and it's the compliments of the Colts when they bring it. The Bud Light zone to my left, you see the high point where the windows are at? That's a real, that and the Lucas Plaza, which we're going down to, is the fun area in the stadium. That's where you'll see a lot of people that will be mingling around, drinking beer, and having a good time. The other thing that will surprise you is while the game is going on, you'll be surprised how packed that area is. And each one of those people that's standing there watching has got a seat to the game. Okay? And the same thing applies. You'd be surprised. I'm surprised that I told you about those seats, the club seats over there for $230, $270. You would be very surprised when you go out there where they have tables and chairs and everything, and the people there are sitting actually during the game, drinking, mingling, visiting, watching the game on television instead of being outside watching the game. And they pay $230 to $270. It's packed. Now, at halftime, needless to say, it's hard to get a table there. I mean, there's a lot of tables. And the other thing is they got 5 concession stands. The other area you see here where you see the tablecloth, tables there where they got set up, they did that purposely designed because we had someone was interested in having a meeting there, and they want to kind of give them an idea how it would look set up. And that's the reason that's set up there, and there's no people there. I understand they had somebody that do that. They don't have assigned seating for that. Now see, when you have anybody...
What do you think of today's game? Good game, buddy.
30,000 square feet of space. And again, you can imagine the amount of people that's mingling around here. The other thing, I don't think I told you this, but for example, they got 50 permanent concession stands here. They got 90 kiosk stands. The service here is very, very good. So you got a total of 140 selling points for food. And the other thing is the fact that when you're buying over here, for example, you want to press it, we've got another place where you can buy hard liquor, a kiosk, nachos, a soft drink, pretzel. So if the guy wants here, he wants to get a hot dog or a pizza, he can get it, and another one's getting nachos, he goes to another stand, so you don't actually have to wait in line. The other thing is like when we have the game. Now before the game, we'll have a live band that plays in that horseshoe. Not during the game, but before the game, okay? And needless to say, it's loud, but it's a lot of fun. People mingling around here watching the game. Before the game. Again, we try to rent this out to as many people as we can to help subsidize the cost of running this building. Oh, that's another point. For the Colts game, we employ 2,700 people here, part-time and full-time, when we have a Colts game. And of course, that's usually our number one. Now the number one attraction, of course, is the NCA for that one time, 7,000 people. The Super Bowl will be number 2.
How much does it cost if I'm a private party and I want to rent this out?
Well, that's a question is asked, but you have to call the Colts office, and it's like everything else. It depends how much space you want it, for how long, if you want food and drink, so it just varies. There's not a fixed cost. Okay, guys, thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you, Gary, for coming to my tour today. Enjoyed it.
It was a good time, man. Thanks for taking the time out.
All right.